Okay. Okay. This session is focusing on Tamar, and we'll start off with the plain side view. And Tamar looks pretty comfortable in the water. One eye in the water, one lens of her mishkefet in the water. We'll take a look at that again in slow motion. Elbows are quite nicely up on the recovery stroke. And I'm pleased to see that her head is not jerking back into position now, although there's just a slight lift there, just a slight lift as she turns from one side to the other. The head comes up there. You can see it just over there. The head has come up now with that arm coming over, almost as if to check where she is. But she doesn't really have to do that. When you're swimming in a pool, you've got that lane, the markers below you. And in the sea and lake anyway, the clarity of the water is not sufficient to see much in the water anyway. The only time you should be looking forward really in open water is when you're sighting a particular buoy or a particular target that you're swimming towards, or if you're wanting to draft somebody. Other than that, your head should be down. So I would encourage Tamar not to lift her head in that situation. Now we take a look at Tamar from the top to have a look at our vertical helicopter view in slow motion. She looks pretty good from the top. The legs are together. And she's got a relatively good kick going. There's a slight pause I detect on the right arm, just there. There's just sort of a slow, and then it comes over. Here also, if one wanted to be super critical, one would say, look, there's the body is angling itself slightly. It could straighten out a little bit, but it's pretty near the vertical line. As far as that's concerned. Let's just watch the end of this. Elbows are coming nicely out the water. There's a fairly good amount of body roll and rotation from that perspective. Now we're looking from the side and front on. Again, I'll take it at slow motion. And okay, here we go. That kick is a nice, good, strong kick at the back. Now, you can see, let's just focus first on the right hand coming in there. Okay. Let's just take it back a little bit. You can see again all that stream of bubbles that Tamar is still putting a fair amount of pressure downwards, okay? Which necessitates that she's got to kick a little bit harder to keep her body horizontal in the water. Okay, and then she kind of pulls it in over here. It's quite a drastic angle, this, of the arm, and I'm focusing now on the right arm. If we look at this arm, it's quite a drastic angle. My preference here would be that Tamar is leveraging her chest and her back muscles more, and that this arm would be a little bit more vertical in the water, and the hand not so cupped. It's kind of cupped in, perhaps a little bit straightened out, just everything a bit straightened out. But I know that she's trying to really catch the water and pull it back there, so it's not a major criticism. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and carry on with this. Now let's look at the left hand coming in. Okay, watch that left hand, it comes in. Okay, and there again, you see what we've been talking about. the hand is up and the elbow is down. And actually we want the opposite of that. We want kind of that position is what we want. Because once the hand is like this, it's first of all gliding. There's downward force pushed on the water, which makes the legs drop, okay, which you need to work harder with the legs. And then it's got to kind of maneuver itself so it can get into the correct catch position to pull Tamar through. So again, I would, that left hand is being very naughty, and that needs to be worked on. It's just finishing. There she straightens it out, pulls it back nicely. Good breathing. Legs, great kick. And as she goes forward, you can see all that extra action that left hand is doing to pull her through. And I really think that Tamar could really do quite a bit of increase in propulsion in the water if we can get that catch right. Okay. Here we're taking a look at the sideways view. Again, I'm going to slow it down to give it more effect in slow motion. You see that left hand again, it's too vertical. The right hand's a little bit better, but it's doing that little curve maneuver. Let's watch that left hand again. It goes up, it moves around, pushes down, and then it comes back. Whereas if Tamar could get that left hand in the catch position already, if she could actually get it in the more vertical position, elbows up, hands and fingers down, in that position, she would already be in a position where this hand here can drop more quickly and get into that vital catch position and get her into a position where she can really start pulling and then pushing back on the water and really leveraging that arm like a strong gear and propelling herself through the water. The body is still, it's relatively straight. Let's watch that right hand coming in. There again, it's better than the left hand, but again you can see that it's still pushing down all those bubbles. There's force going down. Maybe again there's that inclination to feel that you need to push down on that hand in order to breathe a bit better. But actually, Tamar sits quite comfortably in the water, and if anything, I would suggest that she be focusing on blowing out more into the water, although she's doing it here quite well. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think she's blowing out quite regularly, which is great. But there's a lot of up and down movement and that gliding and hand glide and so on, which could be rectified. Good kick. Okay, and finally, we look at the front on as Tamar approaches the front of the pool. So we'll do that first in normal speed. Look, those hands are pushing downwards, you see? They're pushing down, you can see. Okay, let's watch that again in slow-mo. Let's focus on the left hand. It comes in, it pushes out to the side, pushes down, and then it kind of does a little S shape coming in. And the right hand we've observed already, it comes in, it goes up, and then it's pushing down again. And that's why also Tamar needs to be kicking a lot stronger in order to keep her body up. But she doesn't really need to do that, because if she's blowing out and exhaling into the water, and if she can get that arm to come around in the right position from the word go, with elbows up and fingers down, she would get into a catch position a lot more quickly, and she'd be propelling herself a lot more quickly along the water, and again with more propulsion it'll be easier to breathe from side to side. And here her body roll is quite good here as well. So she's got the body roll, but the hand positioning needs to be increased. If she could get that elbow up, fingers down with the body roll, she could put a lot more power into her stroke and into her propulsion, and she could really get a lot faster.